between these two. It's like 10 minutes, but you know, who knows? Anything could happen with him in that time, right? I mean, a good death or a good game over instantly nets you like a good solid 5 minutes of, oh gosh, what am I going to do now? And it looks like we are already off and good to go. So, there you have it. Fantastic race starting right here. So, while we are still in the intro stage of X1, known for a lot of holding right and mashing, and usually nothing super exciting going on, I guess it would be a good idea for you guys maybe to get a quick drink still or whatever before we truly get past the hardcore intro stage of X1 into the dash capsule and truly get into some speed. And with that, we are watching the first B, Yo getting a good B, and I believe Tinto is getting a passive B, as I saw some little thingies pop out on the bottom. And actually double good Bs for Yo, and a bit hard to see what's going on Tinto here, having a little bit of stutter going on. And actually I think he got 2 passive Bs, but picked up a big HP, meaning he gets through just about fine. Yeah, look, it is indeed true that in speedrunning you want to save all the time you possibly can. So some people probably misunderstand what we mean by save the frames, because it's usually involving really neat, tight tricks to save a little bit of time, and it's not usually something you use to refer to stream lag, but maybe he thought if I don't have to stream through the frames, I'm also saving him on bandwidth. But, you know, maybe it will get better, maybe it has some lag, I'm not really sure. We will see soon. On the other hand, it's kind of cool, it offers a completely new perspective on the world. And with that, we see Yo actually finishing up a second. Oh no, what is this? He actually gets to kill a third car, but the second car dropped him a big HP, which he accidentally walked over. And oh gosh, I'm not sure what happened there over on Tinto's side. Well, apparently he somehow zoomed in or something. That actually looks really funny. There's only a pause action going on your side, meanwhile. Probably wanted to scroll through the text really quickly, so you can actually scroll through the text a little bit faster by pressing the A button or something silly, stupid like that. But the fastest way to go through all of the text is actually if you just keep the start button pressed. But if you press it too early, you obviously just pause the game. So that's what happened there on Yo. It doesn't really cost you that much time to like pause and unpause, maybe like a second at worst or so. But that's not too bad. I see a lot of people in the chat here cheering on for Yo. Does Tinto have like anyone in the chat here cheering for him too? Like, poor guy seems a little bit unsupported over here. And we see Yo actually expertly dodging around the rabbits. Although, you know, rabbits are pretty cute, so I did decide to hug one there for a second. And Tinto is going for a very slight error here. And I'm actually not sure what's going on there. Tinto obviously made a wrong stage select, but I think he accidentally hit a button somewhere on this emulator that caused his HP to disappear. There are indeed certain settings where you can turn things off on an emulator, and I think he may have accidentally hit one of those. So I hope he can fix that. So what he's doing right now is actually just killing himself to get a game over, so actually he can go to Penguin. However, in a race setting, and he probably doesn't know this, so if you're listening to me, Tinto, right now, please take my advice. If you make a wrong stage select, it is allowed for you to reset your console or your emulator and go to the password screen. There will be a password, and it will turn you back on the stage select screen. This is completely allowed within the tournament rules. It wouldn't allow you, doing a run for the leaderboards wouldn't allow you to do that. You could do it to finish your run, but it wouldn't be allowed to be put on the leaderboards. It's against the rules. But for in a tournament setting, it's definitely allowed, because if you would have to do like an entire stage or something because you made a mistake select, that is so much wasted time if you can't do it optimally. Of course, having to do all of that game over stuff, killing himself a couple times, really lost him a lot of time, and it does mean that Tinto is quite a ways behind, even this early in the race. But there's still a long way to go, so, you know, lots of stuff go wrong. And meanwhile, we get the CEO going up against RNG Bird number 1. Gets 1 slide, 2 slides, cha-cha slide. It's not a thing here, but I mean, we can imagine it is. 3 slide, slide to the left, slide to the right. Some ice statues, some ice balls, a 4 slide. Oh boy, what a bird. 5 slides. Oh boy, don't you love the penguin. And nice skill there we got for Yo. And meanwhile, Tinto making his way to the penguin stage. Okay, and because we do see this category is a bit special. We don't often speedrun this, but I think someone came up with the idea for the tournament. It's a cross-game category where we do 24 Mavericks. So we actually play through the intro stage and the 8 Mavericks of X1. At that point, we turn off the game, turn on X2. We have to wait 30 seconds to start the new game in order to allow for people on the console to properly swap their cards and do control setups. And at that time, you start the next game, do the intro, the 8 Mavericks for X2, then swap to the X3, and do the 8 Mavericks there. So you basically do the 24 bosses in the the 8 bosses in the 3 games without the end game. So that is the 24 Maverick category. Also, as of today, we had a bit of an argument. Oh god, please be careful, the spikes, yo. I saw him like stand still for a second and thought he was gonna go get smashed. Luckily he didn't. And meanwhile, Tinto finishing up on the penguin. So what I want to say, there is actually potential with some certain bosses that you can get a double kill, where X and the Maverick both die at the same time. And we had a bit of an argument today, like, what are we going to do with this for the rules? So for you guys as viewers who are also up to date, if on the final boss kill in a game, like the 8 Maverick, we get a double kill on the boss and X, you do have to start the fight over. It wouldn't be allowed for like a run to continue. It would be, if you do continue, we'll simply add it to your time when like a certain time frame to it, compared to how long you would take on average to kill a boss. So both of these guys, Yo already at the end of Coanger at this time, doing the stage. It's a lot of vertical movement. It's pretty hard on the hands, not too easy to execute because a lot of jumping usually involves a lot of partner movement. Coanger does have an easy strat to keep him in a chain where you permanently keep him on lockdown. However, Yo does not opt to do that. Perhaps he has not practiced it. Yeah, it's very well possible. Ooh, gets grabbed, slammed into the ceiling there. He has to be careful. If he takes a death here, that could actually mean the end of his advantage over Tinto, but Coanger definitely being kind to him. Right there at the end, gets into a teleport phase, does not teleport into his hitbox, and gets a nice kill. Meanwhile, Tinto going all the way up the tower. And perhaps we will see if he gets the Coanger dance himself. And yeah, as Waldo also said in the chat there, you can opt to pick up power-ups like hard tanks, sub tanks. Everything is allowed, pretty much. Except save states for an emulator, or console for that matter. Of course, you're allowed to use anything. Of course, any safety... Ooh, Tinto took a death there. That is rather unfortunate. he will have to do this climb again now. This is actually a pretty difficult climb. It may not always look like that, but believe me, this stage is really quite hard. And Yo, meanwhile, keeping his advantage already through the chameleon stage. Meanwhile, now actually a complete stage ahead already over Tinto. Tinto getting a little extra health drop there right before Kawanger, making sure he's full health. He was already full health, but I mean, you may as well be double full health going into a boss fight, right? And then Yo here doing the hardest boss fight of his life. Probably fall asleep as a scroller, rolling his head back and forth and still win this one. And Tinto fighting Kawanger. Ooh. Narrowly escapes the grab there. Ouch. Ding! Alright. Tinto is now in the good phase where Kawanger is below 50%, so he should now not keep teleporting and never teleport to the exact middle of the stage. So he's pretty free. They did get in a little grab there on Tinto at the end, who looks a little bit nervous to me. He missed a couple of shots there. Also, something that's worth mentioning is that when you actually get the Kawanger in that teleporting pattern, you always see runners fire a green shot at Kawanger. Now, the green shot deals 2 damage to Kawanger, and I believe also to one other boss, but I'm not sure which one it was anymore. I'm sure I'll remember at some point. Most bosses only take 1 damage from a green shot. But you will always see, mostly, runners shoot the green shot, but wait a little bit before firing their next lemon, because a lemon is actually faster than a green shot. So if you fire those shots too quickly after each other, then your lemon will pass by the green shot and you will end up dealing 1 damage from the lemon rather than the 2 damage from the green shot, which would arrive in the iframes from the lemon. If that makes sense somehow. It should, but I'm sometimes weird at explaining things. And with that, Yo is arriving at RNG bird number 2. Will we get the max dives? Will we get no dives? What will it be? And Tinto doing some freestyle swamp, smashing things in her big robot. That's 1 dive. As soon as oh, what a crap RNG. That's actually the worst feeling when Eagle comes down and it just floats back up. That's like really nasty. And we're getting max dives here. As soon as Eagle dives, he has the chance to do 1 dive, but if he does a second one, then he's automatically doing either 6 or 9 dives. So as soon as you see the second dive, you know you're kind of screwed for a while. Meanwhile, Tinto arriving as his hardest boss fight for the day. And yes, Lucille, as Manix already said, you do have to do the games in order. I'm not sure why we came up with that, because technically I suppose you could do them in any order. It wouldn't really make a big difference, as you still need to play the game separately, I guess. Whether you finish a game first or last doesn't really matter too much. But I guess it would also be very confusing for commentators and viewers if one guy starts in X1, the other in X3, and then they do completely different game orders. It's already confusing sometimes to follow when they do different boss orders, let alone if they played on an entirely different game order. It would really be weird. And Tinto missed his elevator there for a second, as Yo is actually dealing with some bad Thunder Slimer luck. Lots of bubbles and clinging to the ceiling makes this fight really annoying. Reverse 24, I suppose it could be a thing, but I've never seen it before. Also, would that mean that you do like the everyone does a different boss order? What is reverse? I don't know. No magic carpet, no, because in any or low percent in X1 it really doesn't help you. It's not faster than doing the stage normally. And while I was looking at chat, I see Tinto took another dead. Really having some issues here with the elevators. It can be kind of tricky if you don't get on the elevator right away. Then it can really be annoying to get on the next one. And no, this tournament is completely the SNES versions, so nothing else. You cannot play the newly released X collections on Steam, or the Genesis or PlayStation ones. Ooh, yo! Is he gonna get Mike Tyson? Is he gonna get Mike Tyson? Oh man, Mandrel's not feeling it today. He's gonna let him live. He lives. No punch to the face for that guy today. And Tinto actually opting to pick up a little extra life there in the Eagle stage, because he already took a death or two. Oh, some extra HP, it's gonna come in handy. He has already taken quite a bit of damage. Yo taking the long way around to the Mammoth stage. You saw him actually like take over all of the separate Mavericks, but you can actually also hover over the big giant screen in the middle, where you see like either the world map or which boss you hover. And if you actually select the middle screen, which is possible, you would go back or go to the last thing you had hovered before going onto that screen. And actually a very nice eagle for Tinto. Does not get any dives. It's amazing. Yo making a little stop there next to that miner guy that was laughing at him after doing a pickaxe in his face. Not really sure why he stopped there. Maybe he just wanted to admire that guy's nice pickaxe again from close up. I don't know. Something like that. I mean, to be fair, it is a nice pickaxe. And Tinto moving into the Mandrel stage now, as Yo arrives at the Mammoth fight. Right now, Yo is indeed winning. Tinto had some early issues into the game, and already took a couple deaths actually, rather unfortunately. But he's keeping up strong. There's still a long time to go in this race, so anything could still happen. We still have a lot of animals have to explode. We still have to do octopuses and tigers and hornets and types of weird fish. What else do we still have? Oh, armadillos. And Tinto there actually smashing a whole bunch of boomerangs up to the ceiling. Didn't feel like jumping up with too many tornadoes. Gets a big health drop, making sure he is safe on the rest of his journey through the stage. Is Tinto strong in any of the X games? Well, I don't want to discredit anyone here, obviously. When I saw their times before starting these races, neither of them have a top tier time. Let's put it like that. They both definitely have a good amount of room for improvement, but you know, you never know. You might still get enlightened by the end of the stage and suddenly play his heart out. And, yeah, surprise everyone. I also don't really know Tinto myself, so perhaps X1 is Alez's thing, but he's really going to surprise us in X2 and X3. I don't know. You never know. I don't know. Maybe you guys know about... Ooh! Jumps right onto that spark. That looked pretty painful. I hope that Tinto still has enough lives. He did pick up an extra one, but he has to be careful that he doesn't take too many deaths. And especially not when he's at the end of the stage, because if you die on a boss fight with a game over, that's really painful. That means you would have to do the entire stage and the boss fight over rather than the boss fight. Mandrel happily attempting to jump the ceiling. And Yo getting a little bit of a armadillo rolling around. Didn't make it too painful. Maybe like 5 seconds ago, so that's quite alright still. Oh. And dillo down. MMX for Tinto, who takes the bottom route. He gets a little bit seasick when he takes elevators and conveyor belts, so for his own health he decides not to ride them too much. Bad news for him is that he actually has to later in the stage, can't really dodge the next ones. And hopefully we hope Yo doesn't get too seasick, because he actually has to jump into it. Getting some nice jumps through the little seahorse thingies popping out. And Tinto getting through this little conveyor belt section. This is the last stretch to Mammoth. Hippity hoppity. Ouch. Fall on that spike. I really hope he still is alive, because I'm not sure with all of the deaths that he took so far. I'm a little bit scared that Tinto... Okay, he still has 1 life. Great. So even if he does take a death, let's hope not, because I mean Mammoths is also not the hardest of bosses. But you know, anything can happen, always. Everyone has a missing controller input now and again, and lag, obviously. He still has a sub tank. Look at that. He actually picked up a sub tank somewhere. Didn't see. Not sure how or why I missed that. I may have been looking in chat, or maybe he was just still having a little bit of lag earlier. But you know, it's always nice to have a safety if you're not really sure about your gameplay, or if you're a bit uncertain about can I make it, yes or no. Ooh, Yo trying a wall shot there, but didn't get the thingy right. And Octo definitely one of the harder Mavericks for X1. Drain attacks are actually really good on him. Goodbye, Yo. Tinto's coming back! I mean, oh, unfortunately he died. So Tinto is now on a little break stage in Dillo, so he can write some cards here. Easy peasy, fast going forward. And we'll have to see now. Yo has to be a bit careful here that he doesn't die again, because he already used like half his rolling shields. And to be fair, Octo's already quite a difficult boss out of the 8 Mavs. So if you would really run out of rolling shields and take 2 deaths here, and then you run out of his weakness, it can get kind of nasty. Ouch. That miss, that's unfortunate. Buy is really low. It only needs 2 more shots, so... Fireway's not gonna... Oh! No! Oh, no! Whoa! Octo! Keeping Tinto into this game! Octopus is a hero, just like Stag yesterday when he smashed Sopa down into the ground. Wow! These Mavericks are brutal, dude. Killing people left and right. No runners are passing through here, and now Yo has to go and get through this. Oh yeah, without the weakness, but he can actually still cut off the arms, but he's taking a lot of damage already, so I hope he's gonna make this. Although this should be a lot easier. Octo only has 1 solid attack to fire at him now, so yeah, he can just smash like this and be fine. It's gonna take a little bit of time, but it's safe. So that's actually really got the option out of him. Meanwhile, Tinto actually has Dillo going down, and really caught up a lot of time in this fight. And with that, Yo finishes Octopus and X1 with that, and will now be going on to X2. Needs to wait 30 seconds before he really... No, I'm not really biased. I'm I'm always happy to see people die, because for me that's really exciting. It keeps the game fun. Don't worry. I don't really know either of the runners personally, so I can't really be biased. If anything, I would be biased against people that I know really well and wish them to lose. Well, like, say that, for example, I have some of the top tier runners that I know well, like a Luis Miguel or a Fatso. I know those guys really well. Those would be the guys that were like, yeah, I hope they lose just for the sake of it. You know, all in good fun, though. And yo, with that, starting up on X2. Tinto caught up a good amount of time there thanks to Octo. This is his final Maverick for X1. I'm biased against everyone. I don't like anyone. You know, like that, you know the Smurfs, you have like that one grumpy Smurf that's like, I hate everything. Well, that's pretty much me when I do commentary. I hate both of these runners. I hate MMX and X2 and X3. I hate this intro stage and the stupid airship that's exploding right now. I hate people alive. I want them to die. Anyway, after my amazing grumpy Smurf impression, so Yo actually got through the X2 intro stage. And we'll now be moving on to Sponge, and now we're gonna see Tinto makes it over to Octopus. We'll have to see how he goes through with that. Yo did have his fair share of issues here, so we'll have to see if Tinto fares better. He also doesn't opt to cut off Octopus' arms, which is actually a pretty good strategy if you're not so confident with this fight. Actually pretty low on HP. Ooh. It's gonna be tight. Ooh. Oh, right, I forgot, this man has a sub-tank. Well, that sub-tank is actually really paying off for him. If he also took 2 deaths here, he would just lose all that time again that he made, that he didn't get, that he got from Yo's deaths that he caught up. But, yeah, thanks to that sub-tank, makes up a lot of time. So I guess it was really worth to get the safety in here. But still, Yo is quite in a solid lead. It's the entire intro stage of X2 that he's ahead, and already a lot of Sponge he will be through. Here, the famous moment of X2 in the intro stage, where you see green biker dude in the back dying. Bye, dude. See you on the next race. And we actually get to Sponge. We all hate each other equally. I feel you on that one. So actually, Sponge, the thing with Sponge is that he can get angry. Much like we get angry, we're all grumpy Smurfs here. And he does that when he is at 10 HP and on the ground. So ideally you want to see him do this attack when he's climbing up to the ceiling. And when he's climbing up to the ceiling, if you can quickly kill him, you can avoid... Oh, this is actually really good. Can you finish him? Can you finish him? Oh, that's unfortunate. He actually almost skipped over the angry Sponge, but he missed that last shot. So we will have to go to this little invulnerability phase now. But then he gets the free kill, so it's still cool. That was actually the best RNG you could wish for, going up at just the right time. That was rather unfortunate. Also, if you guys do want, I mean, you're always welcome to ask me questions. I know I mess around a lot in my commentary, but if you want a little bit more technical information, I can definitely do that. I'm pretty knowledgeable about all 3 of the games, less in X2 and X3, mostly in X1, but I can give you a lot of information if you really want that. And if not, I'm just gonna keep messing around. I do what I want! But feel free to put in any questions. I mostly can answer stuff for you guys. If there's any questions you have about the games or the categories, stuff like that. I wonder how you'll react to that. That's something I can't tell you. I'm not a psychic. I can't imagine he would feel pretty sad at that point. And probably a little bit scared, because of taking 2 deaths like that, losing the weakness weapon, you know, that's quite a lot of time loss, and then knowing that you have to go through it with an alternative strat that takes more time. It's a pretty sad thing there. So anyway, Yo here in the Gator stage picks up this Buster upgrade. So we didn't pick up the Buster upgrade in X1. I've seen people suggested before in X1, like, oh, why don't people take the Buster upgrade? You get some upgraded weapons, which can be really nice, like an upgraded Chameleon Sting, for example. Now, an upgraded Chameleon Sting would be really handy if you're not able to maneuver well through a lot of the dangers, and it would really help you in there. But mostly, it doesn't really help you with going fast. Because if you get quite adept at the game, you don't really need it so much. In X2, you really do need the upgraded Buster, because you have the charged strikes chain, birds are hard, and the charged Buster, no, not charged Buster, burner, the charged burner in X2, which are 2 movement weapons that are really important for fast movement in this game. And we really want that, otherwise this run would be a whole lot slower. You will see it be used quite a lot throughout this game. And meanwhile, Tinto has arrived at the sponge, so we'll see if he can dodge the angry sponge phase. And nope. The answer is nope. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of colors in these games, although it's not something that people mention a lot. I think you're the first person ever that I see mention that about these games. Let's see, you can actually get Gator on a lockdown, and Yo going well at that so far. Oh baby! Oh, on the last hit. Now has to wait a little second for Gator to... Oh, that's nasty. He hides again right away, wasting Yo's time. Can't you just let him pass? Get out there. Out. Out! There we go. And meanwhile, with these Mavericks really getting on Yo's nerves, Tinto is actually creeping a little closer, I feel like. We now see Gator explode, and Tinto is actually within the same stage again now. So if a couple of these Mavericks keep annoying Yo like that, Tinto might actually creep closer and closer bit by bit. Also, what I wanted to say when you mentioned there that with the colorful games and whatnot, something that usually most people say about these games is that especially the music is very good. These games are actually pretty well known for having very good soundtracks. I think X1 best out of these 3, and people seem to like X3 the least, but definitely all of the MMX games are pretty good when it comes to that. Tinto navigating through after getting his Buster upgrade, and Yo now gets to climb a volcano where lava will be chasing him on a couple of these climbs. It's a vertical stage, much like the Clanger stage in X1. The lava is popping out under him right now, so he has to be careful of that. Oh, wanted to take that hard tank, but that little mob monster right there didn't really let him. Got a little bit denied. Oh, Tinto actually left that platform a little too early and crashed his butt onto the spikes, which these spikes are insta-kill, as you could see. He had a full HP bar, or close enough, and instantly died. So that is unfortunate. Hopefully he doesn't have that happening again. Okay, that happened again. I'm sure he'll get through it. Don't worry. He's warming up. He's giving Yo a healthy advantage to make it fair. He's coming back in X3. He's got the late game or something. This is a calculated strat. Meanwhile, Yo has arrived at the stack fight. Stack fight now a very famous Maverick after the race with Sopa the other day. So gonna see here. Yo actually doing good work on this guy. putting in some solid hits and nicely dodging out on all the stag attacks. And Tinto, meanwhile, on the right, takes a little bit of a safer route. Doesn't want to die on those spikes again, so... Oh. Come on, Tinto. You can do it! Yeah! Let's go. And stag going down on Yo. I do believe that with Tinto's couple deaths on those spikes there, Yo is actually extending his lead again. X3 has a special place in your heart. Is Tinto trying to die? I don't think he's doing this intentionally, but I mean, I don't know. He could be. He actually missed his first hit here on Gator, who instantly dived down. So, oh, that's unfortunate. Gator back into the ground. Not being kind to Tinto here, and meanwhile Yo has entered the mod stage. And actually got in some solid hit with the Buster on Gator, and then tried to just, well, successfully hit the strike chain, but that caused Gator to go back underground. Got a double hit there, but more underground Gator. This is rather unfair. Actually, a little word to mention is that, speaking of color schemes, you see that all of that water is red, so actually I'm assuming that you're basically fighting Gator in a pool of blood, which is pretty gore for a kids game, don't you think? Just a little detail there, but you know, pretty sure that's what you're fighting in. Either that or red paint, because after all this is a world full of Reploids, which are robots, so technically we don't bleed. Or it could be oil. It's probably oil, yeah, that's it. And Yo, nicely wiping all of the enemies, doesn't really want to go and charge through there too much, just kills all of them. That's always an option. And indeed, darkness darkens. RNG is not really being kind to Tinto. Just had a lot of struggling there with Gator. But then again, Yo didn't have it much better. He also got quite a few dives out of Gator at the end. Although he did get a bit more Yo actually opting out of his charged burner despite having tons of ammo ready. Not really sure what he's doing. A little bit awkward. He has a lot of ammo, but he opts to use the Buster. And Tinto, meanwhile, I believe he actually selected the wrong stage, and then probably did the password screen and went to Ostrich now. But yes, there are humans in MMX, I guess. Well, I mean, you would figure that. Well, yeah, they either don't appear, or you know, or they appear in capsules, or they're just evil doctors that are trying to kill us. I mean, oh, Tinto crashing the bike there at the end. We'll have to do the rest of the stage on foot, which is a bit slower, of course. Not really difficult or anything, just a little bit slower. And meanwhile, Yo is going to the centipede stage. Pretty fun stage. There are a lot of moving and falling blocks around here, so there's lots of options to potentially get crushed and die. Always makes me happy when that happens. And Tinto here with some fabulous smashing on that missile. I hope someone still believes that when I say it. And a good use of the charge burner there on Yo's end to dodge those blocks. Doesn't want to take too many risks with all those blocks falling down. Most people try to dash through before they fall down, but he would rather play it a little bit safe, not throw his lead away. not an unwise decision for sure. Yeah, if you select the wrong stage, if you reset your console or your emulator, then you can go back to the start menu and you can go to the password screen, and it will automatically load in the password that you got after the last stage that you were in. So if you just take that password, you will get back on the stage select screen with all of the bosses that you already defeated. I think I actually mentioned it earlier. If you were to do a run for the leaderboard, you are not allowed to do that. However, in a race setting, it is allowed simply because it is way too painful if you pick the wrong stage and have to go through it without proper equipment. I mean, a very good example would be in X1. Just imagine that you went into the armadillo fight without the sparks. I don't think I need to explain to you that that would be a rather painful event if you were not allowed to go back and use the password. So, Centipede, let's take a look here. If we get good RNG, and we get teleports. Do we get a tailspin? More teleports. And very truly teleports, not even allowing him to get a hit in. So I guess we're gonna see a lot of time getting wasted by this boss. Oh wow, I guess Tinto did have a wrong stage select before, but he is also routing differently, that's for sure. Players can do the Mavericks in any order they want. It really doesn't matter, as long as they kill all of them. And there we get a tailspin out of Yo, but he does not do the RNG force with the chain strike. But he gets a pretty decent kill on Centipede. Lots of teleports, bit trolly, but I suppose we've seen worse. And he didn't die as well, so that's a good thing. Also, yeah, dash shots do more shots, more damage than green shots usually. Also, Tinto did not do snail yet before ostrich, so he didn't have his weakness. And Tinto does have to be careful here because he's tanking a lot of damage from crab. And you actually have to be careful with that because if you tank too much damage with crab, Tinto, you do have a sub tank? Okay. He went into this pause there, and then I don't know. It looked like he didn't realize that he still had a sub tank in there, or something, even though he just looked at it. And crab going down. I'm actually not really sure. Because of all these different routes, it's a little bit hard to keep track on how many bosses I've killed. I think Yo has to do 2 more after this one. Let's take a look at the Tinto's stage select and see how many he still has to do. Oh, little weapon get the screen there. And we still have 4 bosses on Tinto's end, and 2 X-Hunters still on the screen that they can spec. Yo falling all the way down there to Prognotize block. No, it's definitely a lot faster than entering a password to game over, because the password is already put in if you just reset the console or the emulator. I mean, you also... I mean, game overing also really depends on the stage, but I mean, unless you have a really easy way to keep killing yourself fast, which is very often not the case. And pretty cool snail fight at EO here. Ooh, gets back in the shell. Ooh, careful. Alright, he makes it. Oh, whoa, actually, Tinto dragging that one beetle guy all the way into the volcano, wow. And climbing up to stack fight right now. and firing some of these blades around, some of these slicers, to try and get the enemies cleared out of the way. And oh crap, I missed the stage select screen for Yo. Gonna assume this is 2 Mavericks left for him. And we had Tinto with 3 more after this, so I guess we're still a stage part. Unless I am wrong somewhere. Could always happen. Now, I'm gonna tell you guys a little story in the middle of this while Tinto is smashing down on Stag with his weakness with the bubbles. Also, I'm actually not sure who is smashing who right there. He's taking. This is gonna be close. Oof, he made it. So, because I see a couple of you guys out there saying, "Oh, cool! I didn't know this before. I didn't know that before." So, take a seat because you might fall over from laughing on this one. There was one time where I went into a stream here on Twitch with a guy that was playing X1 casually, not speedrun. And he was trying to get the heart in Madrill. You guys know in Madrill it's about halfway, and you have like in the top right corner a little ledge where the heart is on. And he didn't know how to get that heart. And I told him, oh, you can easily get it with like, you know, a jump up, you wall kick with boomerang, and it will come with you right away. And I don't know, he didn't manage to get that. I don't remember how or what. And I told him, well, I mean, alternatively, you can just do a dash jump on the wall. And this guy tells me after a little bit, like, dude, Drago, this is impossible. How could I possibly dash jump to get on that ledge? Like, I mean, it's not hard. You just dash jump on the wall. He's like, but dude, that's impossible. I can't double tap dash and jump on the wall. This guy had been playing X1 for a really long time. And he probably never checked out the option screen because he didn't know that there was a dash button and he thought there only was double tap dashing. I don't know. I think I learned that guy the best thing he learned that day. Like for 20 years of his life he had played this game without realizing there was legitimately a dash button assigned. So I don't know. I feel like I saved his life a little bit that day. Meanwhile, Tinto having a little bit of an issue with that thing on his head. Role-playing alien in MMX. So yeah, I don't know, that day, I don't know. I thought I was sad for the guy on one hand, on the other hand I couldn't stop laughing. So Yo actually on this final stage now for X2, which is Crablos, the crab. Careful, don't follow that ledge. That's usually not healthy. And Tinto about to get to the end of mod. So actually we're about two stages apart. Yeah, I mean, you can use double tap. It's actually not so infrequently used in the speedrun as well. Double taps, it's like really good for after you leave a ladder or get through a door. Because in these games, X1 and X2, I believe for sure. I'm not sure about X3, but I know you can. Oh no, X3 you can't. X3 you can't. I do know actually. You can actually buffer inputs while you're in a door transition or something like that. So if you're in any kind of cutscene or anything where X is frozen, then oh. I've never seen those bubbles actually before on a crab. It's cool. Crab getting good hit onto you. Ooh. Oh. Ah, he's actually resetting his weapon you use on the screen. That's pretty neat. It's pretty neat. Cool little thing he's pulling off there. Tinto, meanwhile, killed another Maverick as well, and is now going on second to last, I believe. Centipede pretty late in this run. But yeah, what I want to say is that there are a lot of places where you can like buffer inputs in X1 and X2. So if you're like in a door or in a cutscene, you can already input your stuff before you get control back of X. One of the most common places, I believe, to show you that is X1 with the Hadoken in the late game. You can oh, Tinto getting crushed between 2 blocks. Oh, that's unfortunate. Well, Kuwanger being the first, but you can actually do it for a lot. Before you get control of X, you can already do the input for the Hadoken. And on the first frame, where you get control back of X, the Hadoken will be instantly shot out. So if you get the right RNG right there, then, well, he won't teleport over your Hadoken, you'll be just fine. That's painful. Poor Tinto, getting crushed left and right by blocks. You can tell this guy wasn't a fan of Lego when he was a child. I'm pretty sure he's gonna send him a complaint letter after this one. And meanwhile, Yo has entered X3. Oh, Tinto... wait. I actually didn't see how his last death happened there. Did he fall into that pit? Fall into that pit? What? Anyway, 2 stages to go for him. Takes a game over. Probably wanted to reset his lives. That's something. So, Yo on to X3 now. X3 actually a pretty fun game. Also, actually, the only time you really get to properly into a Zero's team, so enjoy. Because who am I to deny the great Zero team song, right? Yeah, X3 personally I think is fun to commentate, mostly every single time for the same reasons, because there are so many mechanics that are pretty buggy in this game, and that makes it fun to really point out all of the weird stuff here. First fight here, an improvement from the X2 intro boss, you know. X2 intro boss, big, fat, moves around, doesn't attack. X3 intro boss, big, fat, doesn't move around, and actually attacks. That's kind of an improvement, because I always feel like an enemy should at least try to kill you, otherwise it's kind of pointless to have him in there, you know? So I guess the development team learned over the course of these games that it's pretty good to, you know, have enemies attack you. Hi? What did I do? Did I say a bad word? Fold? Sorry! Tinto at Centipede, we'll have to see. We get some good RNG here. And meanwhile, Yo at the first actual stage of X3 gets to deal with a lot of ice physics here. In X1 you don't actually get ice physics in the Chill Penguin stage, but here you do, and especially on downward slopes you get a ton of movement speed. Might as well be wearing a jetpack at that point. Oh, okay. Alright, for a second you had me worried there. I mean... I have been struggling with words in the past 2 days, so... Actually, Centipede not giving Tinto any good luck at all, just has to sit there and deal with a whole ton of teleports. Resident Sleeper. Come on and fight me like a man, you coward! About the many things that actually go wrong with X3 as a whole, you will actually get to see the first one here pretty soon. So, Blizzard Buffalo, yeah, has a whole cool set of attack moves, and then there's the fun fact that if you didn't die after the first boss room, Is X7 amazing? Anyway, so you will see here that if you don't die after the mini-boss room, and then you actually somehow manage to stay out of Blizzard Buffalo's eyesight, let's say, then this guy somehow gets stuck in a pattern where he will just stare at the wall, turn around, sees that X isn't there, and then goes back to staring at the wall. So, you know, that's a really cool and well-designed boss, you know. It's very nice, but I do suggest that we give him a pair of glasses by the time Tinto gets here, because, you know, it's a little awkward fighting him like that, you know. My game, yeah, Yo is in the lead right now. He is already in X3, and oh my god, Tinto, please! Oh my god, I thought I was gonna get crushed by that block over there. Jeez. Tinto is actually on his final Maverick for X2 right now, and trying to catch up to Yo, but Yo is already on his second Maverick for X2. This is Toxic Seahorse stage, and it's full of dirty water. So I know where I want to go with that one. There's just a lot of dirty green water over here. Let's just be glad that this game wasn't invented at a time where they could put like smell into games or something, because this would probably be pretty nasty. Because I'm pretty sure we're dashing through a sewer here. So Tinto having a pretty interactive fight with Snail. You guys have probably seen the quick kills before. Some runners do, but both Tinto and Yo actually do a bit of more of a classic fight where you just bounce his shell around all the time and then kill him like that. But it's actually, for the viewing standpoint, definitely a lot more fun. And oh boy, Yo almost dropped to that pit. And with that, Tinto actually through X2 now gets to move on to X3, but Yo definitely has a healthy lead here. I believe a 2-stage lead about. He is moving to Toxic Seahorse, he's not there. So let's say that he's the intro stage as well. He's definitely about 2 stages ahead. Water gets drained out of here. Oh. Let's just head there for a second, but continues on this happy climbing. Yes, 1 dirty water for me, please. I will happily drink it. You will also get a much better commentator in trade. Hooray! Happy times for everyone. So, as we get on to boss. Excuse me, something got into my throat there. Boss number 2 here. There's something fun about Toxic Seahorse here. You can actually do a quick kill on this. Well, okay, this is one strat you can do with Seahorse, where you really just keep him in the chain lock. Just pretty interesting. But you can actually perform a fairly quick kill where you can mash all of these eye shots into him. And that's because when you hit a boss with his true weakness in X3, he gets iframes equal to 3 seconds or 180 frames. And instead, if you hit Seahorse with his true weakness high up in the air and he falls to the ground, then all of the time that he's spent falling, all those frames are reduced from his iframes, and he's somehow creates a time frame in which he has no iframes at all. So if you hit him up high in the air and then he falls onto the ground, then you can just freely mash all the ice shots into him and get a whole ton of damage and instantly wipe like half of his HP bar. Now, Yo didn't show it to us here, but it's actually a thing. If you've checked the more races, I'm sure you guys have seen it before. And it's one of the many things that are, well, to say at least odd about the X3. Something tells you Tinto doesn't run X2. That's not true. He did it just there. What are you talking about? I know it's actually not complicated. It's actually you have his iframes, and then you deduct his falling time from his iframes to create a time where he is completely vulnerable to anything without invincibility. Yeah, that is like an easy way to put it, but I try to give you a bit more technical information on it. But that's the easy way to put it. I just tried to explain it in a little bit more detail, how it works. Meanwhile, Tinto passing through the X3 intro, now happily on his way to go to the first stage. And oh, it looks like we have an early bit fight coming in for Yo. Oh, little eye shot there. Something actually worth mentioning while we're messing around with eye shots here for a bit, is that when you hit things with the eye shot here in X3, although this is probably intended and not a bug, if you hit enemies and kill them with the eye shot, they are guaranteed, if they have a drop table, to give you a health drop. It's actually random if they give you a small or a big health drop, but they definitely give you a health drop. And that is actually really handy that they put this into X3, because one thing that is a really big difference between X3 compared to X2 and X1 is that in X3 everything's pretty much a bulldozer that like smashes you for tons of damage. It's really weird because in X1 and X2 bosses do a lot of damage, but normal mobs do like a bit of damage, and it can stack up, but they're okay. Whereas in X3 it really feels a lot like the stages became a lot harder, and random mobs can really just suddenly truck down half of your HP, whereas a boss can just sit there and not really do much to you sometimes. Meanwhile, Yo actually, by the skin of his teeth, getting through there. 3 HP left, and Yo misses his jump to the air dash. So has to do a little repeat here. Ooh, jumped too early again. Oh, losing a bit of time here, having to do a repeat of that for a few times. And then also, as I did say, the eye shot gives you guaranteed HP drops. It is worth to mention that the acid shot gives you guaranteed ammo drops. And you can see on Tinto's screen here that there's these ice physics, because he's actually struggling to get back up there, because the ice slope keeps shoving him back down. Now, you will also see with Tunnel Rhino, if you do not die in the stage, he also forgets half of his attacks, much like Blizzard Buffalo did before. And you will see that Rhino actually has a lot of drills that he can shoot out, but you see he has them on his shoulders and on his nose and on his hands, but he will not really be using those. If you, however, die in this fight, then you will notice that he indeed starts using those. Also in X3, the bosses have kind of like a desperation phase where if they go below 50%, they have a bit of an upgraded attack going on, or a desperation move, and which Tinto taking a little smash to the face there, getting squished between Buffalo and the wall. But making a safe kill in the end, getting through just fine. Also, in the middle of this, let me just actually plug in for you guys, although it wasn't obvious. You have two runners over here, and YoBGS and Tinto2794. Those are their Twitch channels, and if you want, you are always allowed to follow them. If you're interested in more MMX stuff, you can find the links to the challenge here, as well as the schedule on speed gaming. And there's a Google spreadsheet with links to the VODs. And yeah, there's me for commentary, but you can ignore that part. And then also, of course, because we cannot forget about these guys, there's an entire schedule on speed gaming, of course. More X games. There's a lot of LTTP rando still because those guys just won't stop doing that. And lots of other games. There are always tournaments and showcases and whatnot going on around here. It's also organized by a wonderful crew of people in the background. I don't even know how many people are really in the speed gaming crew, but believe me, there's a ton of people in the background that do a lot of stuff to make these tournaments and all happen. But yeah. And yeah, because you mentioned it, I did see it. Tinto picked up a safety heart. It's always a good thing to pick up safety. I mean, you can make the experience as you want, you know. A safety is never a bad thing, especially in a race or tournament setting. If it's something you can pick up without losing a lot of time, and with the potential to save your run in case something does go wrong, I mean, it's never a bad option. I mean, yo, passing through these cool little enemies. I don't really know how you call these, but I think they're really funny because they actually eat the ground and leave insta-kill spikes instead of normal ground. Kind of funny. Yes, indeed. Better safe than sorry. And we did actually see Tinto already with his sub-tanks, saving himself a lot of time. And now we have Tiger here, so Tiger... That's one of the things that I still think is awkward about X3 as well, is that it's actually very often faster in this game to kill a boss with a buster rather than his true weakness. Even though the weakness weapon deals more damage, the reason that it's faster to go through with a buster is that the true weakness also, always gives a lot more iframe time compared to buster. I don't really know why they designed it like that, but I believe if you do a buster shot, you get like 1 second of iframes compared to a true weakness shot will be 3 seconds. It's a bit of a strange mechanic, but well, I guess perhaps they saw sense in it somehow. Tinto doing the same kill as Yo here. Perhaps did not practice the quick kill or does not feel comfortable with his smashing skills. And let's be fair, this looks pretty funny, because this kind of confirms that seahorses are probably pretty stupid creatures. Hey look, I'm stomping my head on something that damages me, let me do that again. Seems like a pretty intelligent animal to me. Well, I don't know. Maybe the actual animal is a little bit smarter than this robot program thing. But whoever made that robot definitely wasn't smart. No wonder all these evil doctors keep failing to take over the world as we play these games. Oh well. I'm sure I should have done voice acting. Yeah, sure. That seems like the best idea I've heard all day. I'm sure that's the best idea we've heard all day. Sorry man, it's not my fault your boy Seahorse is a little stupid. Anyway, Tinto passing through there, now on its way to Tunnel Rhino. This stage is a pretty cool song written about it as well. It's called Tunnel Rhino. The lyrics are also Tunnel Rhino. I don't know. Most of the things about the stage and made for the stage are called Tunnel Rhino. That's about all I can tell you about that. And Yo is actually on his way to Catfish. Catfish stage pretty. Yeah, I don't know what to say about the stage. It's kind of funny because it goes in all kind of directions, so it feels a bit like a maze. Even though there are never multiple options where to go, so you will always just end up where you have to be. But there's so many places getting around, you know. Goes like up, down, left, right, I don't know, it goes everywhere. And Catfish himself is a bit of a funny boss to deal with. And here you really see that the true weakness really has so many iframes on it. It's actually fairly slow. It's faster to use buster shots on him, but at the same time, it's also more dangerous if you use the buster. Because if you do use the buster, then obviously there's less iframes, the fight will go a much faster pace, and it all in all becomes a lot more dangerous. But it is actually a pretty funny fight, since, you know, Catfish is continuously just trying to body slam you as his attack. So that's kind of funny. I personally feel like he is a Capcom ode to Mario, where he's trying to Goomba stomp you. You know. Oh, thanks for reminding me. X7 is amazing. Burn to the ground! Burn to the ground! This is legit the only thing I know about X7, by the way. I've never played it, this game. This is like the only thing I've ever really witnessed of it. That and a certain big streamer in our community snapping the disc in two. Which is probably a more joyful moment for more people than seeing the game getting played. So Tinto getting close to the actual fight of Tunnel right now, prepares his acid to fight his boss. And Yo meanwhile sees a poor guy having a work accident, dropping down and clearing the way for him. That looked like a herd. I know Legacy Collection is out, I didn't buy it yet. I have actually only ever played X1 as a kid, and I played X2 and X3 both once casually on stream, because I saw so many people play it and I thought, hey, I would actually like to play them once at least. Meanwhile, we have the bite fight going on for Yo. He doesn't want to kill him with his true weakness. Actually, I didn't mention this earlier with Bit, but you don't want to kill Bit and Bite with their true weakness, because right now you see you kill them with a buster, well, you don't kill them, you scare them off with the buster, and this causes them to just run away like the cowards that they are. If you kill them with their true weakness, they actually die and they explode. This, first of all, causes a 15-second explosion, which you don't want in a speedrun because it's a huge waste of time. Secondly, this actually makes a difference for the late game. Later in the game, there's going to be a stage, I think it's Doppler 3, where the game decides, well, actually I have multiple of the Dopplers with more than one potential boss going on, depending how you play. But if you kill Bit and Bite, sorry, if you don't kill Bit and Bite, you get to fight the God Car Machine O Inari. I actually looked it up today to get the name right, just for once. And if you don't save them and actually kill them, you will instead fight the Press Disposer. If you've never seen the Press Disposer, you can praise yourself lucky, because that fight is terrible. It's a lot more comfortable to fight the God Car Machine. It's also a much funnier name. And meanwhile, we're gonna take a look if Yo is gonna be doing some quick kill strats here with the Try Thunder and the Buster Shot. But he seems to be having a good time with some Buster strats. Oh, does in fact go for the Try Thunder into Buster Shots now. Oh, gets grabbed and a bit slashed apart, but does make a good kill of the Crawfish here. Lag, the C connection. I don't really know. I haven't really bought them yet on Steam. I also don't own the PS4, so if I do buy it, it will probably be there. I'll make sure to let you guys know. Also, I did hear, or I saw someone picked up a Steam comment, Sam actually, one of our top runners in X1, about someone complaining about the lag in X1, which is actually accurate lag simulation from the original game. So it's kind of hard to, yeah. say it's not okay to have the original lag in there if you want the original gameplay experience. But I haven't played myself, can't really comment. Meanwhile, Tinto going through Catfish. Trying to do his desperation move, but as long as you keep hitting drills onto him, he actually doesn't get to fire it. So he's safe. Nothing much to see here. Just needs to finish the fight. Ah, it's input lag. Okay, nice. Yeah, okay, input lag is actually the most terrible thing in the course of history. But at least if you speedrun on that version, you would legitimately have the option to blame your controller, right? So, no. Oh, missing his hair dash a couple times here, but does make it up those couple edges. And Yo actually getting really close to finishing the game by now. He's in the Gravity Beetle stage and pretty close to the boss at this point. And after that, all that will be left for him is the Hornet stage and boss. While Tinto still has a little ways to go, he's now in the Crawfish stage. And I do believe he still has a couple mini bosses coming up with Bite still in there. And Gravity Beetle, one of the many bosses in here that's kind of silly in design. It can be quite a hard boss, but if you have its weakness, which is the Ray Splasher from Tiger, this boss turns into quite a pushover, just like hippity hoppity goes around. As you can see, there's not much going on here. Bit meanwhile has popped up on the side of Tinto. Who is now swapping onto his Buster for the finish, so he doesn't get a 15-second explosion, which would just suck. Yeah, if you have access to an original SNES, it's always nice to play on that. Legally, if you own the game, you're also allowed to have an emulator. A lot of people actually play on an emulator for speedruns because, you know, it's not always that easy or, you know, cost efficient for people to still go and search for an original console, or for the games for that matter, depending on where you live. So Yo actually, with a really big lead still, is now on his way to his final boss in Hornet. Bad news for him is that, let me grab my paper here. I don't think he's able to PB anymore. He will probably land close to his PB time for this specific category though, so that's pretty good. Really not too far off. His PB currently is a 1:18.13. And Tinto has arrived at Crawfish. Crawfish, actually, I didn't really explain the entire quick kill earlier. It's if you hit him with his true weakness, then there is a certain time frame after where you can go and simply mash Buster shots into him, where it seems as if he has no iframes anymore. So you could actually hit him with the Triad Thunder, then you jump up to bait out his claw attack, and as long as his claw is flying around, he is simply open for attacks, and you can mash any damage into him as you want. Lots of explosions going on at the Yo side meanwhile, and he is arriving at the final boss. Oh baby, going in. And we still have 3 bosses to go on Tinto's end, if I'm not mistaken, if I saw right. Then that will be Tiger, Beetle, and Hornet. So I think it's safe to say that unless Yo suddenly gets a really bad, you know, case of a heat stroke or something, or I don't know what should go wrong with this guy right now for Tinto to catch up, but I think it's safe to say that he's probably gonna win this one. You could actually kill Hornet with the spinning blades, but Yo opting to take his actual weakness and finish the final fight with the gravity beetle weapon. The gravity well, I think it's called, or gravity ball, and does finish this race in first place with an official race ball time of 1 hour, 19 minutes, and 36 seconds. Race time always determined by the race bot in the SRL channel rather than the timer on the splits, unless you of course link them to each other, which is possible. And now we can all go and cheer on for Mr. Tinto, as he as well looking to make his way through this game now and finish up his run. And I do believe there. Let me see. Tinto's PB is 127 and 11, so I think it's on the last stretch to Tiger. Maybe a narrow chance at the PB? Maybe? I'm not sure if he's behind or ahead of his splits right now. So if he gets a pretty decent kill here, he might still be in for something. Maybe. I'm actually not sure. I'm not entirely sure how long stages take next stream. Might be too tight. Might be. We'll see. We'll see. So you see him using spinning blades here. What using spinning blades on Tiger does is actually using spinning blades on Tiger forces his RNG to a point where he actually doesn't do anything except jump from wall to wall, as you can see. So if you were to use Buster shots only, then he gets less iframes and you can kill him faster. However, if you use the spinning blades like this, you see that he only does one thing. So it's slower to kill him with his true weakness, but it's easier because you force his RNG into a specific map. And Tinto taking the easy road through that and gets a pretty solid kill on the Tiger. Good job on him. Yo, what's all up with all of you guys? Same football in MMX. What the heck? Where are the good old times where we had left player and right player emotes in the chat? Tinto now in the gravity beetle stage, second to last stage here. Oh. Having a lot of rockets being fired at his face. No problem for that guy. Jumps on through. Gotta get with the new times. The World Cup's over. I'm still mad because we lost. So mad. Tinto getting some HP drops there, actually forcing it using the ice shots, making sure that he's oh, I see. Actually, what Tinto just did, I didn't realize it at first, is that he used the ice shot, because I said it earlier, the ice shot forces HP drops on the ground, and he used that here to go and fill up his sub-tank. Just in case he still has some trouble with one of the bosses, he has a full sub-tank to rely on. Yeah. I don't know if you guys heard it right now, because I think I was still on the edge of talking over it. But you can actually hear a special little sound when your sub-tank fills up. Usually you hear a little filling sound, like a click that says, hey, we're filling your sub-tank instead of your HP bar. And then you have like this like click when it's indeed full. Tinto showing no mercy for any Reploids in his way here, really just killing everything. Now Crafty Beetle gets his turn at attempting to hop onto Tinto. What an attack. I am hopping in your general direction. Be scared. Almost got you now. Oh, I'm dead. Alright, so good job on Tinto there. Not too many issues with Beetle, of course, when you have his weakness. Boss pattern, obviously not too difficult. And with that, you would have 2.5 minutes to finish Hornet to get a PB out of this. I think that's a little bit too tight. Because I do believe this is still quite a stage, and I'm not sure, but I don't think we saw Unfight Bite yet, or I must be absolutely blind. If he still has Bite, then he definitely can't make it. This elevator here in it's actually really annoying. Having to air dash up there and everything. It's so. He made some good climbing there though. It was a good job. Come on, chat, cheer this guy on to finish that run. Get to that Hornet, smash it to pieces. And oh, this is a mini boss. Oh, okay. For a second, I thought it was the bite room. Fun thing to note actually is you can also direct the acid attacks and like above or below you. I thought there were other weapons as well that you can actually just place out and give a directional input in order to shoot them a certain way. But as I said, X3 being my game I have least experience with, I'm not sure which all of them were. I don't think he wanted to do that. He actually seemed to hesitate a second as he fell into that gap and just looked at the wall like, wait, I'm not supposed to be here. Come on, Tinto! Bite fight? Yeah, see, we still have the bite fight. Unfortunate. So this won't be a PP for him, but it's still going for a pretty solid run and ouch. So actually, bite is really dangerous if he does get his hands on you, because if this guy gets his hand on you, it is, you know, you saw what happened there. He kind of like pummels you and then knocks you up into the air, and it's very painful. And then a good move as he removes his drill from the screen by swapping to a menu. So the thing is, as long as you have a weapon that you shot out on the screen, you can't swap to a new weapon, right? So if you have a weapon on screen and it's really in your way for something vital, like avoiding this explosion on a bitter bite, then what you do is open the pause menu and just manually swap off your weapons there, just to be safe that you don't get that kill. Or you could be Colonel Fat, so do pauseless, swap to your buster, and swap back to your drill and kill him with it anyway. So that's also an option. My PB in X1, it's been a while. I think 37.53 in X1 hundo and 33.53 in 80%. It's been a while since I played, and I don't think I've touched the game for at least a year now. Probably even longer. Except unless I maybe casually picked it up for a moment, or wanted to test something that we talked about. The last thing I tried was, I think a month ago, we figured out that for some awkward reason, Armadillo is actually invulnerable to certain weapons. Not really sure why, but like, the charged weapons don't even work, and whole bunch of stuff actually doesn't even affect this guy. Don't say that. Tinto finishing up his race with an official race ball time of 1:29 and 44. Oh, actually, I didn't pay attention to the SRL chat. Tinto actually asked us if he can finish the race or if we are bored. What kind of question is that? Of course you're not bored, jeez. Alright, see if these guys have a little talk with us though. And actually, what I just wanted to say, like King Falvin, like speedrunning is something that anyone can do. Like honestly, if you want to speedrun a game and you feel like you want to dedicate some time into it, there's a lot of people who already do it and are willing to help. Like you have certain gaming environments where you have like PvP and stuff where people are pretty rude or hard on others. But in speedrunning, I just want to tell you that there's a very kind environment all around. And all you need to do is say, I want to do it, and then just start on it. Like, really, anyone can get a decent time in X1 or any other game. But, you know, all you have to do is just pick it up and go for it. Like, if you want to play the Mega Man X games or the classic Mega Man games, I know there are Discords for that. Like, we have some solid communities here. The classic community is a little bit more strict, I think, with their Discord than the X, because they had a couple people run rampant at some point. But generally, if you get into either of these Discords and you want some help, there's a lot of guides and just people that will help you as you ask for it. So you want to get in on it, just tell us and we'll help you out. And both of our runners have agreed to actually come in for a little chat. Hello! Mr. Winner, you can talk now. Hello, Tinto.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, there we go. Indeed, there we go. Congratulations on your victory today. That marks your first win in the group. How do you feel about that?
It was pretty nice. I was worried about Octopus because, yeah, it kind of fell apart there a little bit, but that's the first time I've ever run this that I didn't die in X2 or X3, so I'm pretty happy with it.
Yeah, that's pretty good. You actually got, I believe, fairly close to your PB. What did I see? 1:19.36 compared to a 1:18.13, so that's actually a pretty good time for you.
Yeah, I lost about 2 minutes to Octopus, so that's what I was saying is I'm like, if I didn't die twice there, I might have PB'd, so yeah, pretty happy with it.
Yeah, that's actually a pretty good result. And you tend to, unfortunately, coming in second place today, but you know, there can only be one winner, and there's two of you. I do fear that means that you won't be able to make it to the group stage, but you do still have a run coming up. How do you feel about your race today? Because I do believe that compared to your PB time, your race wasn't all that bad either.
I don't know. I don't know why did I had such a rough time in X1. I died like 3 times, and in X2 too. I died a couple times, so I had to on purpose in order to get more lives because I didn't want to game over at the end of the stage. So
yeah, I did see you actually took quite a few deaths over your run. But you know.
The nice thing is that I didn't die in X3. I was hoping to die in X3, but I didn't die once, I think. For me.
Yeah, it's possible. I don't always see everything, keeping up with chat too. Yeah, that's always a good thing if you're gonna go through a game and keep it completely deathless, because eventually in such a long run you can quite easily take a couple deaths. But you know, it's pretty good. Now, a little question. How long are both of you running this game? Because I don't really know either of you too well, so I don't really know what your experiences are with the games.
I had been running X1 100% for a little while, and Mr. Otter and Waldo were like, yeah, we're putting this tournament together. So I actually don't run X2 or X3 apart from this. So I learned it over the last like month, and it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah. And what about you, Tinto?
Since I've been in this speedrunning thing, I like X1, 2, and 3, and I've been running them much as I don't know, Walrus Prime or anyone else. But yeah, I've played X1 100%, a little bit of X2 100%, and a little bit, just a little bit of X3. This category, this 24 Mavericks, I started when this tournament started, so
Alright.
not much to say.
Alright. Well, and do get informed that Speed Game has a pretty busy schedule, so we can't keep it up too long here. So we're kind of gonna have to wrap it up here. But I do want to thank you both for having a good race up for us today, and good job on the runs. I hope you can both still win your next games. I'm not sure who you still have to face at both, but yeah. So, thank you guys for running. Of course, I want to thank the entire Speed Gaming crew in the background for keeping things running around here. They're currently setting up for the next race on this channel, which will be a Super Metroid race coming up pretty soon. I would like to thank everyone for watching us. Of course, if you're interested in the runners, you can follow them on these links here. If you want to know more about the tournament, follow it up over there on the challenge or the schedule and more. And if you want to know more about the all-around Speed Gaming schedule, you can find it on those links. Alright, and we really do have to hurry out of here, so thank you all for watching, and we're gonna get out and let the Super Metroid guys keep things going. So, thank you all, and have a good night.